Today you join me for a short and sweet, hopefully, garage tour. Very rarely do I have all my cars in one place and lined up like this, but it was a nice day just a bit ago, but now it is starting to rain, so I'm going to try and make this short. I'll give a quick overview of all these cars and a startup and take them all for a quick drive. This will be probably last. I'm going to start with the loudest and the fastest car, which is not either of these. It is actually this. This is my favorite car of all time. It is a 1992 Audi S4. This has been my dream car since I was a kid. I've seen 5 in my life and I bought 2 of them. This one is the nicest example that I've been able to find. It's still obviously not perfect, but it's pretty good. It does come equipped with a few upgrades such as a fresh pearl white paint job. It has a Garrett GT 2871R turbo. It has 7/8 camshafts, has a South Bend Stage 3 clutch, it has Audi R8 coil packs, and big injectors that I don't remember the brand of. A lot of things are zip tied together because it is an old Audi, but it does currently all work. I emphasize currently because you never know. Also has brakes from a Lamborghini Gallardo, which are huge, and it does need them because it puts down 374 horsepower at the tires, which is a lot for a little 2.2 liter 5-cylinder engine. And of course, it is straight piped completely. The next quickest would be this. I bought this actually yesterday. This is a 1998 Chevy Corvette. It comes equipped with a 6-speed manual transmission and not really a whole lot else. It is not the Z06, it is the base, so it is a 5.7 liter LS1. It sounds pretty healthy. It has 160,000 miles. It does have pop-up up and down headlights, and it's got tires from 2011, which is just really lovely in Washington rainy weather. But overall pretty solid. It's not going to stay for very long, but I'm taking it now on to the next fastest, and that is my 2007 Jaguar XK. This one and its faded paint I purchased for not very much, a little bit north of here. Like the Corvette, the hood also opens up backwards. It has a 4.2 liter V8 with like 10.8 to 1 compression, makes 300 horsepower, so a little bit less than the Corvette, supposedly 345, and this is 376 to the tires, so mid 400s to the engine because these have a huge drivetrain loss. This car has about 112,000 miles. It is cosmetically not great, but mechanically it feels very sound. I did just get new wheels and tires for this. Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s, same tires that I have on my Audi. And while this is one of the roughest examples of this car around, I have actually been driving it pretty much every single day. It has taken a lot of work to get it to that point, and I am now going to move on to the next fastest, or we're getting into the slow category now. But this is my 2006 Mazda Miata of the NC, or the 3rd generation. This is the car that I've owned the longest. Oh, I'm getting wet, but it's blue sky. I don't know what that's about. I haven't driven this in a while. The brakes are getting pretty rusty. This car has taken me on a lot of adventures. It has a hardtop with a bunch of stickers on it. It's got a limited slip diff that I put in there. It has a 5-speed transmission. Swapped out the 6-speed manual for the 5-speed because I like it better. There's really nothing too special on the inside, although I have added heated seats and a subwoofer. Under the hood is the bone stock 2-liter engine with about 127,000 miles. I haven't really done anything to this other than oil changes and a valve cover gasket. Oh, and a fancy coolant reservoir. Not the fancy one, it's the cheap one, but it is better than the plastic one on these that likes to crack. I've also lowered this car. It's on Meister R coilovers, Enkei RPF1 wheels, and Hankook Ventus V12 Evo tires. It has a trailer hitch and the supporting wiring. I actually tow my little trailer that's sitting over there quite a bit, put quads on it and stuff. Moving on to the other Miata in the fleet. This is a 96. It has a sticker bomb hardtop that I put on there. It is a 5-speed manual, has a 1.8 liter engine under the hood. It is bone stock. It has cruise control, power steering, air conditioning, power adjusting mirrors, all the good stuff. When I bought this thing, it did not run right. The previous owner had done a head gasket and the timing belt was off, so it has a new head gasket and a bunch of other little sensors, so it now runs very well. Still pretty sad looking, and I have a lift kit and wheels and tires and everything that actually just showed up today, so this is going to be lifted very soon. So it comes with a very loud exhaust. I have a stock one sitting inside that I'm going to swap on because this is not going to sound great, and you'll see her very soon. And now on to my normal runaround car, a 2018 Hyundai Elantra. Really not much to say about this. It is a car. It has CarPlay and everything that I've used once. This car has been stolen and then set on fire, so the interior has been replaced, but it runs pretty good. It's got like 20,000 miles on it. And now for the last guess. This is my 2001 Suzuki Swift that I bought to be a little runaround, but the previous owner lied about it and said that the engine was in good shape, but it actually smokes very bad and rattles and knocks and misfires. I did actually quite a lot of work to it before I found that out. Still pretty nasty inside, but I've cleaned a lot of it. I put a new radio and speakers in it. Also, obviously put hood pins on it because the hood would not stay down. What's special about this Swift is it has the 1.3 liter 4-cylinder engine, which is not very common for these, and air conditioning, and a 5-speed manual transmission. So in theory, it's the perfect spec of Geo, but this one is just not it. So you'll likely see this one on an upcoming cheap car challenge. It's where I've been storing all of my recycling in the back. Oh, and it also comes equipped with a flat tire. But now I'm going to start the driving portion of this video by taking out a 98 Corvette. Corvette comes equipped with a few errors. It's saying shocks are inactive, so the maximum speed is 80 miles an hour. Service ride control, I haven't looked into any of that. Low wash fluid, I think I can figure out what that's about. But it feels pretty solid. There's a lot of plastic squeaks, you know, downside of a 20-year-old Chevy. Everything squeaks, everything's very plasticky feeling, but it's relatively comfortable. The pedal box is a little small for someone my size with big feet, but it gets down pretty good. It's fun. This thing has a real nice sound to it. I'm a big fan. It's not too loud, not drony on the highway, but enough so you hear it. To the next one. So, the Audi. This is my favorite car ever, but it is not perfect. So, some of the gauges work, some don't. It's kind of hard to keep track of which ones do or do not. I have boost gauge here, AFR's there. Heater mostly works, radio's terrible. When you go over bump, that speaker either starts or stops working. But the engine works flawlessly. Let's demonstrate this. This thing scoots pretty good. This is a full sedan with heated seats all for it. It scoots. Has quite the boost lag. It's so much fun. I love it. You start to build boost at about 4,500. This is so childish. Alright, so I'm at about 3,700 RPM. I'm going to punch it and nothing's going to happen. Okay, something's going to happen. Okay, something happened. It spools up pretty quickly in a second. But with the windows up, it's still loud. Still really loud. But this thing does do alright on the highway. The problem with the highway driving in this is that the wheels are only 17s and the brakes are huge, so there's no room for wheel weights on the front. So it gets a little bumpy. Maybe one day I'll upgrade to 18s, but not right now because it has really good tires on it and I don't want to buy new tires. In the Jag now, and this car comes equipped with a lot of errors. It tells me the trunk is open most of the time, the cat system fault, which is something to do with the suspension. TPMS sometimes on, sometimes isn't. Check engines on for a couple evac codes, but this thing gets down pretty good. It's fun, but yeah, paddle shifts are fun 3 times, and then you just put it back into drive because it's This car actually does drive it very well. I've been daily driving this for a while, and it starts up every time. It's supremely comfortable. I still haven't charged the AC, and it's getting to the point where I need to do that. I'm hoping that it just needs a charge, but it could be more, but I will find out. The interior on this is still pretty rough. I have cleaned a lot of this. I took carpet cleaner to the headliner and all the door panels and everything. There's still a lot of switches that are broken. The door panels are stained all over. This is worn off. The previous owner just really went to town on this thing, and not in a good way. At least it makes some good noises. Gets going, but I'm not really excited by it. So I don't know how long this is going to stay in the fleet, or really what its place is. But anyways, on to the next one. The can see. Not the most exciting startup in the world and not the most exciting car in the world, but it is a dependable, reliable, good fuel economy, fun car. It's really served me well over the years. I haven't had to do much to it, and it's taken me on a lot of adventures, not the most comfortably because I'm 6'4", trying to cram myself in Miatas. But it doesn't sound incredible. It's a little 2-liter, basically a Ford engine, but it's fun. It's enough to have some fun with. I always forget it doesn't rev out quite as much as the NA Miatas. But, you know, not the most exciting sound in the world, not the most exciting throw you back in your seat car in the world, but it is fun and it handles very well. This is a joy to drive on back roads when they're twisty. This thing handles so flat. I will say though, it's developed a new rattle because the last time I drove this is going to sound like I made it up, but I promise this is real. I drove through a rainforest that we have in Washington, and I thought it was going to be a scenic road. It turns out to be 16 miles of off-road, like rocks, and I wasn't exactly teetering, but I was scraping, and something underneath the car now is rattling, so I need to figure that out, because I actually haven't driven it since then. That was like a month ago. This car doesn't get a whole lot of use, but when I do use it, it's usually for a road trip or something, because it's just a good little car, and I like it. Not bad. I like this car. Not going to be the most exciting segment of this video, I don't imagine, but it's a good car. But on to the next. I've crammed myself into the NA Miata. It comes equipped with check engine light because there is currently no second O2 sensor because of the exhaust from an earlier Miata, but I will remedy that very soon. There's a lot of exhaust leaks also, so you're about to hear those in full force. They're just more fun than the other ones, in my opinion. Granted, that's coming from somebody who has spent more time in an NA Miata than in any other type of car, so I'm a little biased, but to me these just feel like home. So what I'm trying to do with this one is to replicate a previous lifted Miata build that I had that I took everywhere. I drove it 20,000+ miles, took it to the desert, took it to Vegas, took it to the mountains, everything. And I ended up going a little too far with that car. I put a big turbo on it, different transmission, lifted it too much, all that stuff. Then eventually I sold it, and I've tried to buy it back, the guy won't sell it to me. So I found another example that has all the options, because I want AC, I want cruise control, all that stuff, if I'm actually going to use it, which is my plan. So I want to make this one how my last one was when it was in its prime, before I went too far, back when I actually used it a lot. So hopefully that goes well, but I have high hopes for this. But in the meantime, it's still fun, but today it is going under the knife, because all my parts showed up today. But I don't know if I mentioned, this does have a limited slip differential, which is very nice. Just in case you don't believe me about the limited slip diff, I will prove it to you. There's not really a whole lot to say about this car. This is my second Hyundai. It's kind of what you get if you don't want to spend the money on a Toyota or a Honda, but it is very tall person friendly. I can extend the steering wheel back, I can extend the seat back. I have slept in this car before and it's very comfy. I've been pretty happy with this car. No mechanical issues, but it does only have 25,000 miles, so it shouldn't have any mechanical issues by now. But it does have the little paddle thing, toggle, whatever you want to call the shifter if you're trying to be sporty, but e-brake sucks. You can barely even turn around with it. It's a car. Last and most certainly least is the Swift. The Swift is the one car out of all of them that I regret purchasing. It was very misrepresented by the seller, and also I probably should have been a little bit more diligent in buying it, but it was cheap. I did pay just about $1,000 for this. And the guy wanted to meet me somewhere, so I couldn't see the cold start. And I asked the guy, you know, does the engine knock, smoke, any weird noisy? He said, no, it's healthy and runs smooth, runs strong. So that was a lie for sure. because you saw the cold start, it smokes real bad. It does stop when it gets warm, so that's how he was able to sell it, because when I saw it, it didn't smoke, and it also didn't knock. Now that I changed the oil for the correct oil, because I think he had thick oil in there, it does knock at idle, so this engine is pretty toast. It misfires because cylinder 1 has really low compression, but the AC does work. It slows the car down a lot when you turn it on. I replaced the mirrors and the sound system and cleaned up a lot of stuff, fixed some switches, did a lot more work to it than I should have, because after that I found out that, oh yeah, the engine's kind of shot. This thing's gonna end up on another cheap car challenge probably, and it probably will be destroyed. There's really not a lot I can do to it in the meantime. I don't want to drive it because I don't want the engine to blow up before I'm doing something fun with it. But I will show off an interesting feature of the car. And that's not the e-brake, but it has a shift light. Now you can't see it because the steering wheel's in the way. And it tells you when to shift because it has no tach, but it also makes a little audible sound. I think you heard it there. And a visible one too. You can see the smoke behind you, maybe you can't. So it does it has 3 ways of telling you to shift. 1, well I guess 4, because the car starts violently jerking. And then also it has a little arrow, and then it goes, and then it smokes. So it really lets you know when you want to shift, which is very practical. I like it. Check engine lights on for some stuff. I fixed a few things and now I don't care. It kind of rips though. It is the big block, so you know, for a Swift or a Geo or a Firefly, whatever they call these things, it would have been a good car, maybe. I don't know. It's not anymore, so this thing will, I'm sure, live on to die an eventful death.